Okay, well, I do want to let everybody know how much I appreciate Scott asking me to come in and do this. I can't tell you how grateful I am that you're letting me. I mean, because I'm a talker and, always looking for some place to talk at. So this is wonderful, and I really appreciate every single one of you. I went on the NFB website today and took a look, because I didn't want to come here and, just be completely not prepared. But, and that's how I saw that Do You Dream in Color? And I thought, oh, I got to find out about the next screening of that, because I'd like to watch it. But I also was looking at some of just the background of the NFB, and I was really happy to see that they have such a strong following out there. There's so many chapters, which I think is wonderful, that everybody gets an opportunity to feel that they have that team, that place that they can go where others are like themselves, and they can find new challenges and things like that. So that is pretty awesome that you're part of this organization. I know that Scott here has inspired me. And I don't know if I've completely let him know to what extent, but I think y'all are so brave. I would be frightened to go out into the world. It would scare me. It really would. It would take a lot for me to get over that. And so I commend and applaud your bravery, because you're braver than me. But I do know that when he started with us, I thought to myself, wow, here he is, putting himself out there, exploring the world and unafraid. And I want to be like him. I want to be like Scott. And what I eventually ended up doing, I have started volunteering with an organization called Radio Eye. And their home office is out of Lexington, but they do have here over by Gardner's Lane, they have an office over there, and I'm going to be one of their readers moving forward. And I think it's a great opportunity, and I couldn't wait to tell him, I did this because of you. But I did, Scott. I did this because of you, because you showed bravery, and I think of your entire team and all the people that you were all so brave. So I would like to be more like y'all. I really do. I want to be unafraid to do things that might make me nervous, or that might make me uncomfortable, and just go out and challenge the world. And I want to let you know that there's a place at the Red Cross for individuals like yourself who feel like you want to do more. If I don't have a position specifically for you, I will create one. I'm always needing somebody who can greet. That's a great thing that, as soon as you walk into the Red Cross, we don't currently have somebody sitting behind that beautiful wooden desk in that beautiful lobby to say, hi, welcome to the Red Cross. How can I direct you? And so, there are lots of little things like that. I'm looking for schedulers, people who can just call other people. And that means you don't have to leave your house. If you have an unlimited phone plan, you can do that from your recliner in your front room or living room. Front room is a really northern way. And it's not front, it's front. It's CH. It's a front room. But I want you to know that, at the Red Cross, we look forward to bringing in individuals who might have challenges, who might not have challenges, but it's more about your desire. Do you have the desire that will propel you to say, hey, you know what, I would like to be in an environment like that. I'm unafraid and I'm brave and and I'm not, going to be afraid to go out and do things that are uncomfortable. So I want you to know that if you decide that you're looking for some extra opportunities, and I know you all probably have things that you're already doing, but if you do have the time, we would love to have you at the Red Cross. And, we have regular quarterly events where we invite people to come, our volunteers to come in. We share a meal together. We go over refresher training classes. You get a chance to spend some time with your fellow volunteers, because for a lot of the volunteers, you're out there alone. but you're really not. You have this whole team, and whenever we do our big drives is probably one of my most favorite times to be with the Red Cross. When I'm in a room with, 25 phlebotomists and hundreds of donors, and volunteers are just everywhere. It is, it brings a joy to my heart. It really does bring a joy to my heart. And if I can help you experience some of what it does for me, I would be thrilled to do that. We offer some good training. We offer recognition events. And then, of course, you can work with me, which is pretty awesome. Don't ask Ryan that. But I would love to see you join the Red Cross if that's something that you feel that you would like to explore. We can have some conversations and find out what would best fit for you and what you would like to do, and then we'll go from there. But I appreciate you all for letting us come here. I appreciate being given some time to talk to you. And hopefully I can inspire you in the same way that I'm inspired by you. So I hope you have a great day. This is Ryan. He is our recruiter with the Red Cross, and he's only been in his position for about a month. So if you have questions, ask him.
Yeah, that's really good. Yes, just a second, Suki. Really encouraged by each and every one of you. The thing that you do on a daily basis that most of us take for granted. And so, like she said, to be like you, to be stepping out and being encouraged and emboldened to do so. Thank you, Scott, for stepping out and doing that. It's definitely a tremendous help and a blessing to us. I want to go into just recruitment. Suki mentioned things that we do, and creating our own kind of course my phone would go off, of our own kind of positions for you, but I'm in need of individuals like yourself who can recruit other volunteers. You're going to be my volunteer engagement person. You're going to engage these other volunteers and help them to, help them walk through quite a bit of things. If they're a blood donor ambassador, you'll learn all the questions that they'll ask and figure out, and you'll be able to share with them how that works. You can redirect them to me. So there's a host of areas where you can be very useful and very helpful to us. And so no one is ever down and out of the Red Cross. With the Red Cross, you can do something to give back, and we need volunteers more than ever. Our company, our organization rather, 90% of what we do is done by volunteers. And so we need volunteers on a regular basis. So if this sounds appealing to you and this sounds like something you definitely want to do or you're interested in, I brought my cards and I'll give them to you, Nikki. And you can pass them out. And if there needs to be something else that needs to go out, let me know. I'll gladly get that for you as well. But we definitely want to let you know that we're here for you. We want to embrace you. We want to have you volunteer and do a fantastic job and meet new and wonderful people like yourselves who are doing the same thing. Does that sound good? All right, well, I hope it does. Yes. And I'll just turn it back to my wonderful volunteer coordinator, who probably would just say, well, that's it. Any questions?
Well, yes. He had briefly touched on an outreach.
You have some people coming in, some more people.
No idea.
Possibly. I just want to know who they are.
That's okay. Well, like he had said, the outreach, I would like to talk a little bit more about that. What an outreach volunteer does is you stand at a table, and if you can, because I know that for some, you can see shadows, you can see people, there's different levels, I'm sure that everybody, even in this room, have. But you would basically greet them as they approach your table and tell them a little about the Red Cross. Let them know you might be for instance, you might be at a volunteer or a health fair. Sometimes we go and they just want us they just want the Red Cross there. They don't really want us for any specific reason. They just want us there. So we will gladly show up and just be a presence for them. And this would give you an opportunity to talk to potential volunteers about joining the Red Cross, or even just sharing some information about the Red Cross, because the Red Cross, there's actually two sides to us, and a lot of people are unaware of that, and that's because we, on the outside, we exude one Red Cross, but we're actually split in two. Because of HIPAA rules that have to do with our donors, biomed side is actually behind a locked door, and chapter side people cannot come in. And that is because we are upholding the HIPAA rights for all of our donors and making sure that that information is not available to just anybody walking down the street or in the hallway. Chapter side deals with disasters, they deal with preparedness training, they deal with helping people with CPR classes, there's training classes, there's dog training classes. They have, we even certify dogs to go and help soldiers and go into hospitals, and they have these cute little Red Cross vests. Oh, I just fall over every time I see them. But there are like a lot of things in that particular vein that you can do that would be an outward facing. So if you're an extrovert and you like talking to people, this might be a situation where it would be really good for you, because you're going to be out with, you'll have a table, you'll stand behind it, you'll have materials that you can lay out on the table, and everything that I do is always like rubber band. So it would just be a matter of taking off the rubber band and sticking it in that brochure stand, taking off another rubber band and sticking it in the brochure stand. And but just talking about the Red Cross and bringing awareness about what we do, because we are two different sides. And on the blood side, not only am I working for the Red Cross, but I also give them my platelets. I also, donate blood to them. And I really truly believe in the mission of the Red Cross and the mission of helping those who need these blood products. A lot of times you would think more family members would kind of pitch in, but that doesn't generally happen. They just rely on the supply. So it's basically about 1 out of every 10 people, are looking at being a donor. But that number gets harder and harder, and it's harder, especially in metropolitan areas like this, because we don't go out to the rural areas as much. We do have to worry about cost, because we are constantly, telling everybody, that 9 cents on every dollar is what goes to administration. That's what goes towards me. And that's what goes towards Ryan. But the rest of the money is constantly funneled in and put back into good use. I know that volunteers alone in 2016 put in, just in Kentucky, they put in over 203,000 hours. Volunteers alone did that. I've got drivers, my transportation team, they've put last month 231 hours on the schedule transporting the blood products that are so direly needed. So, we have to uphold that. And because the public does hold us accountable to what we say we're spending. And it's really important for us to have the volunteers, because we can't pay for all the positions that need to be filled. On a regular basis, just in this county alone, I average between 160 and 190 blood drives, just in Jefferson County. And I have 100 counties. So I have counties in southeast Illinois, I have from Indianapolis down, I have all of central Kentucky and northwest Kentucky. So I'm spread pretty thin. But Jefferson County is my area where my greatest need is. So if you think that working with the Red Cross is something that you would like to explore or like to hear more about, talk to us about, I definitely ask that you get in touch with us. And like I said earlier, if I don't have something that is a perfect fit, there are always tons of things that need to get done that I could use the help with. Like Christmas cards are coming up. Somebody has to sign 242 cards. I can't sign them all. I just can't. I'd like to. I can't. But somebody needs to stuff those cards into an envelope. That again is a whole nother chore. Somebody needs to lick said envelopes or wet said envelopes. But that's a whole lot of winter of holiday cards that are going to be going out. And I could definitely use help with stuffing and sealing, and so there's lots of little things like that we're always looking to have the support from our community with, because we are upholding what we say we're going to do as far as costs, So Ryan here is doing the job of about 2 or 3 people. I've got about 3 or 4 people's jobs on my back. And we're trying to get it all done, but I'll tell you, my passion and my respect and my love for volunteers is really what feeds my soul, and it keeps me going, and it keeps my mind focused on where I want to be and where I want to bring my volunteers, and how I want my volunteers to feel, and to give them some opportunities to go out there and kind of spread their wings and just do some things. So he's going to pass out some cards. Definitely get in touch with us if you're interested and you want to hear more, because I would love to have you come join the Red Cross with us. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
I do have a question.
Mhm.
Talking about blood drives, many times over the past 10, 15 years, we've tried to coordinate a blood drive, and it never seems to work out. Do you have any insider tips on what we can offer or what we can do to make that happen?
Well, one of the things that the blood drive coordinators, it takes about 6 months to build a blood drive. I know it sounds like an inordinately long amount of time, but the very first thing that is going to happen is a blood drive coordinator, one of our DRD reps, donor recruitment reps is what they're considered.
Donor
Resources. Changed it.
Changed it,
They are going to get in touch with you, and they're going to want to know that you can have X number of people. Because we are so short-staffed as far as our phlebotomists go, it's very important that they're looking probably for anywhere between 30 to 40 pints. So if you can start that process before you reach out to the Red Cross, start finding out who will do this. How many people can you get in on this? Because if you can't get enough people up, you might be able to double up with another business that is also wanting to help the Red Cross, but they don't have enough people either. So together and combined, you could find that, we've got enough donors to get this thing off the ground. So once you do have the donors in mind of who's going to be helping, you can now tell that to that rep, and then you guys would talk about how big the space needs to be. Where do you need to be? There are a lot of legalities that are on the biomed side of the Red Cross. The room has to be a certain size. It has to be a certain temperature. I can tell you it's warm in here. They would come in here and go, no, we cannot have a blood drive in here. Because once you get all of those other people funneling in, and we're all mouth breathers, so it's going to get warm. At some point, it's going to get warm. So it's really important, not just for the comfort and the safety of the donors, but also for the blood products we just collected. We don't want to put it in a room that the temperature is not controlled. So you need to know that you've got a good space, a good, decent-sized space, and the rep will talk to you about how large that needs to be. And if you don't have enough people, start thinking now, Nikki, who can I get in touch with? What other organization, might I get in touch with that would be interested in doing something like this, but have kind of been hobbled because they don't have enough donors. So this could really kind of cascade out, and you could be bringing more people into this, and that way doing a better job of securing the ability to have a blood drive. Because, I think it is important that people get an opportunity to make that donation. You know, I tell companies that all the time. You know, not all of your people, by the way, are going to be donors. Some of them are going to want to be volunteers. So give them the chance too, because there are people who have various things like diabetes. They might not be able, but you know, if a person has diabetes, as long as it's under control, they can donate. A lot of people don't realize that. As long as you have it under control, you can donate. And you know, they're going to match you up with somebody. That process, you know, whole blood has 42 days before it must be used. Platelets have 5 days before they must be used or thrown in the trash. And then, you know, plasma can go up to a year in a minus 130 degree freezer. You know, but each product has a different longevity, and making sure that we are bringing in a diverse background is really important, you know, but definitely work on that, Nikki. You know, if you can't get enough people together, I want you to try to shoot for 25 to 30. If you can't get enough people together, think about those in your network who you could possibly reach out to and say, hey, I would like to do this, but I might need to partner with someone. Because I would love to, you know, I would love that opportunity to be there for you guys, definitely. Any other questions? Yes?
Now, I used to be a platelet donor for another facility, but once my health took a turn, I would say, I got turned away. How would you know if you were able to come back to that status?
The only way that you would be able to know, because being able to donate is very much a private thing. And so what I would encourage you to do is to come to our downtown location, which is just a couple blocks this way. And when you come in, let the security guard know, because they're going to ask you, hey, you know, what can I do for you? And I really want to volunteer for that role. But you can just let them know, hey, I would like to make a platelet donation. You just need to go through the process, get into health history. They're going to ask you some questions, because the questions they're going to ask you, I wouldn't ask in this type of a situation, and I'm not a phlebotomist, and so I would definitely implore you to please come into the Red Cross and let them know that you want to make an apheresis, a platelet donation. They'll go through the proper procedures, and it's based on medication, it's based on, you know, because there are just some things that you don't want to be on. If you're on any type of a blood thinner, you do not want to do a platelet donation, because it would be really hard to stop you from bleeding. I know that as far as platelets, you know, I'm a triple donor, and I don't know why. But I make enough for 3 people. 3 full bags come out of me. And I kind of like that donation because it's 2 hours long. You get to watch a movie, and then the phlebotomist just completely dote on you. Would you like a drink? They're holding your can, and they're feeding you chocolate, and I absolutely love doing the platelet donations. The needle's actually smaller. You know, every time I do a blood, I'm like, ow! I'm like, oh, that's right, I'm doing blood. Any other questions?
I apologize. I came in late and I missed probably a lot of what you were saying. I'm wondering, for someone who's visually impaired but is very interested in emergency preparedness and that sort of thing, what sorts of opportunities do you have for volunteerism in that area? I have a degree in public health, and so we covered a lot of that stuff, which really spurred my interest in it, but I really haven't found an outlet.
All right. Well, what I would encourage you to do is to get in touch with the Red Cross. But what we would do is I would encourage you to get with the chapter side. Chapter side is the side that deals with disasters. They deal with installing fire alarms, which we did last year, by the way. 9,500 fire alarms were installed by volunteers last year into homes. And it would, that's something that he would be able to look at, because I have no control over what happens on the other side of the wall.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Any other questions?
What about donations as far as, you know, water and food and things of that nature? Is that on the other side of the wall as well, or is that the chapter side?
No, if you want to help at a blood drive, that's definitely my side of the wall. That is the biomed side. And what as far as the canteen goes, it is more after you get trained. You're going to have more ability to say, hey, how is this person feeling? But it is going to be important that you are able to actually visually see them. That is because some of the reactions that they have they're going to be very slight. Like one day I was talking to a girl. She had just finished making her donation, and I was talking to her, and all of a sudden her right arm popped out just like that. Just popped out like that. And I thought, wow, I heard about this reaction. I'd never seen it. So as I'm thinking, wow, I've never seen it, I'm walking around the table because I'm like, she's ready to pass out. And when I got there, she just about did. So that's a reaction that it wasn't something that I heard. It was something that I saw in her behavior. So if you have absolutely no sight, that might be a difficult thing to do. Because, that's the whole point, is you want to be there to take care of that donor. Sometimes they'll just break out in a sweat. Sometimes their speech will slur. Sometimes, there are just so many little things that you can notice about them. And the phlebotomist won't release them if they're concerned that the person might have a reaction. But there are what I call grenade donors. They're fine. They sat up and they asked him, hey, how are you feeling? I feel good. You feel good? I feel good. All right, well, why don't you go on over to the canteen? And, they're walking and they're like, I feel good. I feel good. I feel good. Whew. Feel a little dizzy. Okay. So, you have to be able to really catch that. And so I know that for Scott, he does a lot of our registration for us. Mm-hmm. And that is the front line. That is the front line. That is, you're greeting that person coming through the door. You're double checking that they're on the schedule, or they might be somebody who just walked in. But there are definitely opportunities at blood drives for registration. And even if you are in the canteen, even if you are and you do have some sight, you could work with another canteen volunteer. It would be okay to double you up in that little area. Because it's really important to talk to the donors. That's because sometimes you're going to hear something's going on, because of that slurred speech. You might catch that, and it might be like, wow, okay, this person is not displaying anything. I know that when I'm at colleges, that's high schools and colleges are tough on the volunteer because these kids, they're not eating enough, they're not drinking, they're not doing anything they're supposed to be doing to prepare for this. So, we tend to see a spike in reactions in these particular situations at high schools and colleges. But for the most part, we have drives everywhere. We do them at the Hart Rudd. We're there all the time. We're at Brown-Forman. We are like spread out all over the city. We're at Yum Center. So there's lots of opportunities to get have an in some of these buildings that you probably wouldn't get into, if it weren't for the blood drive. Any other questions? Good question. My first name is Hyun. No, I'm kidding.
What about donations as far as like bulk, cases of water and
Supplies,
for
basically.
supplies, for disasters? Do you all keep that on site?
Yes, we do keep that in sight, and we actually have it in our warehouse downstairs. There's 2 warehouses that we have, but everything comes from the warehouse, and that's another area where our warehouse employee Kevin, he is in need of help down there. On Mondays and Thursdays we get trucks of supplies come in, and he is by himself, so he's unloading all those trucks, taking everything down into the warehouse and having to put everything away, and at the same time he's preparing all of the blood drives materials that are going to be going out in the next morning. So he's trying to get all their carts ready, and he's trying to unload a truck. So I know that he would love if he could have somebody who could help him down in the warehouse. You would have dollies to use and things like that. and then you would just help make sure that all the supplies are gathered together. But that is definitely an opportunity that we have on the biomed side. I'm not sure if Chapter has a need for that right now, but they might. They might.
So is this all forklift from pallet jacks? Or?
It's all pallet jacks. It's all pallet jacks because it's going to come in right off the dock and then go straight onto an elevator, straight downstairs, and then you just go ahead straight, and then you're in the cage. So it's definitely, but I know Kevin needs help. I know he needs some help. I go down there as often as I can, and I just recently gave him like 3 pairs of gloves to use because I saw one of his gloves and looked a little torn. So I was like, okay, well, I keep a supply for my transportation guy. So here's some gloves. You need some gloves, and I just gave him some. So it's keep his hands from blistering because he works very, very hard. Any other questions?
If you wanted maybe the employees and volunteers at the Red Cross to see the movie, Do You Dream in Color? I've got the movie.
Ooh.
And we could work something out probably.
Well, I'll tell you what I can do. I will put out an email, a call to action, because we do have an auditorium, and it does have a huge screen that's, comes down out of the ceiling. It's all high tech.
You got it.
Yeah.
I need Kevin a VCR.
Yeah, but that might be something that we could definitely get on the schedule. I see no reason why not.
Shush.
That was awesome. That was the best thing anybody's ever said.
Any others?
I like the big screen idea. See, we should have gotten hooked up with you all when we tried to watch it.
Well, I'll tell you what. If we book it, you got to come.
No, absolutely.
You got to come.
There's a big screen. I'm on it.
And I need to know how many people because actually we do have to pay something to the promotion company.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you find out what that's going to be? What kind of cost you would be looking at?
I think it's for. I think it's the minimum. I think was $100.
Because we might be able to pull that together. We might be able to pull that together, and Red Cross people are pretty awesome. I will have to say that they're pretty awesome folks there, and we all are always supporting other organizations, and this would be something that I could, like I said, put out that email. You figure out exactly how much it's going to cost, and then I will try to work something out with getting a screening going.
Do you have a popcorn machine?
We do.
Popcorn and soft drinks.
Exactly. We can make this a real event. And I probably have other volunteers who might be interested in this as well. So this is something that it's going to take a little bit more time to plan. So this is not something that we're going to be able to kind of do next month.
Right.
But I want us to be on this and working on this because I really think that this is a great opportunity for those who have, who are sight impaired and challenged it. You can kind of have that wonderful movie out there and, and teach us something, But yeah, I would love to do something like that. It's a great idea.
I would just like to say, going back to your opening statement, just as, you may think that we're brave and fearless and, amazing, for some people, what you do, we have the same thoughts about you standing in this room, just so open and boisterous and, and I'm very introverted. So, there's that, it's a two-way street. I mean, you may think that, I'm this brave person just because I can't see, but I'm going out and doing whatever, but I feel the same about you. Because I'm an introverted person. So, we're no different. We do what we have to do because
That's your choice.
It is what it is.
That's what it is.
So it's really no different. And we've learned how to travel and how to adapt our lives. And, it's no big deal.
Okay.
And,
We do everything you do, we just have to be blind when we're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus
Yeah.
you're hooked up for 2
So-
hours to donate platelets, which freaks me out. So
Yeah.
I mean,
so.
you know.
Well, you know, as a child, I wasn't very much of an extrovert. You know, I was definitely growing up in my sister's shadow. And if anybody has an older sibling like that, you know, it's you're constantly running to catch up, and you're always compared. And so for me, I fought around being quiet. And I started making it a point that anytime somebody asked for a volunteer, I put my hand up first. Because if I didn't, I'm going to sit there and go, oh my gosh, they're going to call on me. Look away, look away, look away. Don't let them see you, you know. But if I put my hand up first, then I'm not comparing myself to anybody. I'm going first.
Should have been.
So I'm not
another
acting like anybody. I'm not going to sound like anybody. I sound like me. And then it just lets me get back in my chair and go, oh, gosh, thank goodness it's over and I won't be called on.
Yeah, you know, and that's you know a trait that I cannot relate to. You know,
Was
so-
it Walt Whitman that said, "Be yourself, everybody else is taken"?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's an awesome quote. That's an awesome
It's Walt Whitman. I'm not sure.
It probably is, because he had a lot of really good ones. He did. He had a lot of really good ones.
I like that. Never heard of it.
Maybe we should get a museum.
I know we're getting candy for Christmas.
Never got any video to play in the vending machine area.
I still have one. Yeah, because I have, when I was a kid, my father used to take a whole lot of 8mm films. And we were finally able to get somebody to put it on a VHS tape. So I can't ever get rid of my
We still have
DVD.
some.
You can transfer the seat to a DVD.
Yeah, but you know, I'm gonna have to spend some money.
I need to
And I work for the Red Cross.
Sorry.
Very good.
It's a very good point. I am proof that they're saving money. Well, I really appreciate all of y'all. I appreciate you giving us some time and letting me talk as much as I did. You know, I love doing that. And I'm just grateful to be here and grateful to Scott for inviting me and Ryan. So thank you, Scott. Yeah.
Nikki, here's my cards.
Okay.
Give them to you.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Everyone, thank you guys for your kind words to us. We just want to make a difference, and that's what we're trying to do. So thank you for that.
And basically, we do too.
Yep.
You should make it the best.
Back in the 80s, I took, Red Cross had a leadership training seminar, and, you know, just over there on Chestnut.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've also taken CPR training and lifeguard training. You know, I just love you guys. I just want to say thanks to you guys. I mean, I wasn't you two personally, but it was your family, you know, your group.
Well, that's really sweet. We definitely appreciate hearing that, because there's always, you know, that sometimes when you're in the middle of things, it's really hard to see the rim, you know, because you're just right in the middle and you're just wading around in the middle, and you know that there's something on the other side. You know that there is, because you can hear people laughing and having a good time, and you're like, hey, how do I get over there? You know, but the Red Cross really does allow and encourages people to be their fullest, to challenge yourself, to put yourself in uncomfortable situations, and to make the best out of it, and to be the face of bravery and be the face of those who want to make some changes out there. And helping people is for me just the greatest joy. Sometimes my manager's like, Suki, we need to fill more slots. And I'm like, leave my volunteers alone. They're tired. You know? But because we are here, like I mentioned earlier, here in Jefferson County, I have my most of my drives, and I only have about 75 volunteers here in this county, and I regularly have between 150 and 190 drives. So a lot of my volunteers are out there working 2 and 3 times a month. And so we're trying really hard right now in order to ease that pressure on them, because I want this to remain as something that they enjoy doing and that they enjoy getting that phone call to come out. Not, oh my gosh, I think they want me to go out and I'm tired. You know, I care a lot about my volunteers, and you know, I visit them in hospitals and I go to their homes, and you know, we have meals together, and I'm very fortunate that they let me that far into their lives. So hopefully you'll let me be a busybody in yours too.
We all have a movie date now. So you're talking.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to finding that out. So you've got the card. Find out exactly how much the rights to that would cost, because I think that our auditorium will easily hold, what, 50, 80 people?
Yeah, something around
Yeah.
80 or 100.
You know, so you know, even if I just ask every person to donate $1, you know, we could pay for the screening, and you would all give that would give us an opportunity to see a movie that might not be on our radar. And if it wasn't for me going to that website, I wouldn't have known about
Right.
it. So I would love the
Something
opportunity.
else we could do, you know, we're an advocacy organization, and obviously we're all volunteers, and we're always raising money to do a variety of things, and we also like to give back to the community. You were talking about stuffing Christmas cards. Maybe one month, if you had a project like that, we could do it at our monthly meeting.
Absolutely.
We've done it before.
Well, it's the first Friday of the month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guess where I'm going to be.
December.
Well, yeah.
So that gives me a month to put Suki and team on 242 cards. I can do it.
Because, I mean, a couple months ago, we sat here, those folders you have, we did a big mass mailing, and we got in a group and had an assembly line and stuffed those folders and stuffed them in envelopes and put mailing labels on them and got it done in 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
So, you know,
I love can-do people. Love that. Okay, so like I said, and I wasn't joking, I think I'm going to be here the first Friday
That's
next
fine,
month.
that's fine. It's going to be our Christmas party. You can have a couple drinks and some,
Not any good kind of drink.
no, yeah, no.
That's the after party.
Cider.
Virgin margaritas! Virgin daiquiris!
But we would love to, so please
Sneak in
come,
the good
same
stuff.
place, same time, and we'll knock it out in 20 minutes for you.
Oh my goodness, Nikki, thank you all so much. Thank everyone in this room so much. I hope you have a great night. Have a great weekend. And Scott, I'll see you out in the field, okay?
Yep.
Thank you also.
All right, good night.
Bye-bye.
Does anyone have any questions? Since I've worked at the blood drives, does anyone have any questions for me?
I don't have any particular questions about
Donated before.
Yeah.
We have been on the other end of
about blood
donating
drives,
several times.
but- Yeah.
I can't donate. I can't even donate when I was supposed to donate for a blood test. They don't get enough blood out of me.
I know, like I was telling Suki over the past, 10, 15 years or so, I know we've tried.
Is her name really?
Yes, Miss Suki.
Yes.
I know.
It's
I'm
a,
the same
it's a
thing.
southern. No, it's like
Our
it's like
Suki.
it's like
That's her
from-
middle
from-
name.
Yeah.
It's like from way down south, like New Orleans, that kind of area. Is a name?
Well, see, but let me finish what I was saying. Denise had tried to coordinate many times with, the Red Cross about, doing a blood drive, and we had worked it out to, with KSB, we were going to, hook up with them and have it there and open it up to the public, and it just never really,
Yes.
it seemed to happen, so.
If they don't have enough commitments, they won't do it.
Well,
Because of the
even
staffing.
We had plenty. I mean, we had us, we had KSB, APH was next door, and it was
I
just
think
like, we
at
could
one
never
time-
really get past the initial,
Maybe we know the right people now.
yeah.
I think
so-
part of it there might have been, at one time, we wanted to start it at like about 3 o'clock and went to 3 till like about 6 or 7 on a Friday. Well, that wasn't gonna work. They didn't want those hours. They didn't like to do it on a Friday, that, you know.
Most of the blood drives that I have done have been in the mornings from like 8 or 9 to 1.
That's kind of a problem.
Or
The
there's
short
been some of there's sometimes I'll have one. It's an all day thing. It'll start at 11 and go till 7.
Yeah, my company just did one.
Try again.
We practically it was all day for our company, and we have 2 sites, so they man both sites at the time. Yeah, it was a Tuesday, and it was like from 8 to 3.
We'll just have to put our heads together and see what we can come up with.
The garbage sometimes does, and then they tell people they can get off an hour early if they donate.
How critical you want me to do this?
Well,
I just fixed
Good.
it, I just fixed it and I sent it back to you.
Okay.
What's the other thing?
Well, down here, well, first of all, it's not the new letterhead. I don't know if you care. But even if it's, and it's not.
I just wonder if you fixed this, or noticed the same thing that I noticed, so I can fix the,
Well,
fix the letter.
So I started at 6.
and even if you just want to use this letterhead, the who's it is not all the way, it's about half on.
Oh, it prints off correctly, it doesn't show up correctly on the
Yeah.
thing. I think it prints off